Just imagine a man having to go into different bodies to escape hell, which he must keep alive at any cost. The story begins with a young boy named Choi who was going for an interview at a big company. On the way, he received a call from his manager who was wishing him good luck. But then suddenly, right in front of his eyes, a man crossing the road got hit by a car and fell directly at Choi's feet. Choi tried very hard to save him, but the poor man died in his arms. This incident shocked Choi so deeply that he couldn't even answer the simple questions in the interview. And obviously he didn't get the job. Then for the next 7 years, Choi kept looking for work. He sometimes did labor, sometimes worked as a waiter, and sometimes drove a taxi to somehow pay off his debts. Meanwhile, his friends got good jobs and even settled down with families. On the other hand, despite sending thousands of resumes, Choi was not getting a good job. Time kept passing like this, but there was no change in his life. Then one day he was called for an interview again at the same company he had gone to 7 years ago. When the manager saw that he had been making ends meet by doing various small jobs for so many years, he was quite impressed by his perseverance. Seeing this, once again hope arose in him. But then shortly after, he received the news that the company he had invested money in had shut down and all his money was lost. Antamadi ati abdi. Hearing this, he was filled with anger and went straight to the investor's house, angrily trying to break down the door. That's when the neighbors called the police on him. Poor Chori, nothing good was happening in his life. Now, the thief, feeling hopeless, went to his fiancée Jenny's house and saw her getting out of another man's expensive car. When Jenny saw the thief, she gave him some money to help. But the thief, upset, told her to forget him because he didn't want Jenny to spend her life with a failure. Then, when the thief returned home, he saw all his belongings outside the door. In fact, the landlord evicted him for not paying rent. Then the next morning, the thief received a message from the same company that he was not selected for the job either. So the poor thief went crazy from this and didn't know what to do. He went straight to the roof of the building and started thinking that since the day that man died at his hands, his life has been getting worse and worse. Now, the thief had no fear of death. He took a step forward and darkness enveloped everything. After regaining consciousness, the thief removed the bandage from his eyes. He saw that he was sitting in an airplane. Then he looked at the monitor and saw that it wasn't his face, but he had come into someone else's body. Just then, a girl came in front of him and started reading his last letter. She said that the thief is now dead, but she believed that dying doesn't end a person's share of pain. After that, she took the thief to a place where he could truly feel the pain. At this moment, they were both on a high tower where painful screams and cries were coming from below. She revealed that she is the goddess of death and has come to punish the thief for the crime of deciding his own death. After that, she threw the thief down and he fell straight into a swamp filled with vicious animals. The thief screamed as he faced these monsters and suddenly found himself back in the airplane cabin. Then the goddess of death, Hell, said that as punishment, he would have to die 12 times by entering the bodies of 12 people. If he wants to escape hell, he must try to survive one of these 12 chances. Before Choi could say anything, hell disappeared. Suddenly, the plane's engine started shaking badly. So, out of fear, Choi put on a life jacket, even though the flight attendant explained that it was just turbulence. Anyway, soon everything was fine. When Choi looked around the plane, he was quite surprised to see such expensive things. Suddenly, a shining object appeared in front of him, filled with the memories and abilities of the person whose body he was now living in. Then Choi realized that the company he had wanted to work for all these years, he was now in the body of the second son of the owner of that company. He thought that now he could live his life comfortably with this wealth, so he decided to live like that. But then suddenly the plane's engine exploded. Choi went to his seat and fastened his seatbelt, but suddenly there was a tremendous explosion in the plane and Choi was burned to death. After that, when he opened his eyes, he was sitting as Choi in front of a shining door that led straight to hell. There, the goddess of death, Hela, was sitting at a table loading bullets into a gun with which she repeatedly killed him and sent him into another body. But Choi couldn't understand the rules of this game. Bail abain bati tig He said that if he is going to die a horrible death every time, how will he survive? But Hell said that it's your headache, not mine. Then they took Choi on a tour of Hell where blazing fires were burning all around and screams were coming from every direction. Then Hell said that his mistake was that before death could reach him, he went to death himself. That's why now the punishment must be endured. Then Hell shot him and suddenly Choi saw that he was falling from the sky. Just then, when the shining stone entered his mind, he realized that he had come into the body of a man who performed extremely dangerous stunts. At this moment, he was performing a stunt of jumping from the sky without a parachute, which people all over the world were watching. If he survived, his sponsors would give him a lot of money. Gaining that man's ability, Choi felt that maybe he could do this stunt, but instead of landing in the net, he crashed somewhere far and died on the spot. When he opened his eyes, he was at the gates of hell again. He was very angry because he didn't even have a chance to save his life. I was born in the air. Choi said that in his real life he had seen nothing but sorrow. He was born in a poor household. He never got a decent job and moreover, he lost his fiancée too. But Hell didn't care about this and shot Choi again. This time, Choi was in the body of a schoolboy. He saw that a boy was laughing at the stunt performer's video of his death. Just then, a shining stone entered his mind and he realized that his father had died and he lived with his mother. His father has passed away and he lives with his mother. His mother works hard day and night, but he doesn't like going to school at all because some naughty kids bother him every day. One day after being beaten, he became so desperate that he did something wrong. Now, whether it was before his death, it had come into his body. He thought that if he survived this time, he wouldn't have to go to hell and could start a new life. But then a boy named James started bothering him again. In anger, Chohan wanted to teach him a lesson by picking up a chair, but James's friends attacked him and no one came to help him. Later, Chai thought that to survive, he would need to rely on a strong boy. Anyway, when he reached home, seeing the state of poverty reminded him of his mother. When he was eating with that boy's mother, he started crying, remembering his own mother's hardships. In the evening, he received a message from James, who was bothering him and asking for money. The next day, he met one of James's friends, who told him that James is friends with a powerful 11th grade boy, and that's why he bothers everyone. Then during lunch, when James bothered Choi again, Chauhan poured noodles on his head in front of everyone. Southeast Yestain. James angrily told his companion to attack Chauhan, but he outright refused. In fact, Chauhan himself had told him not to interfere because he was going to handle everything himself. Meanwhile, James went to seek help from Tom, the 11th grade leader. So, Tom arrived with his gang to teach Chauhan a lesson. But, seeing Chauhan, he was surprised that James couldn't handle a small boy alone. This made James embarrassed. When Tom tried to attack Chauhan, it was James's friend who came forward to help Chauhan. The matter ended there, and then Chauhan started exercising every day to become stronger. But James's friends teased him a lot, saying he got beaten by a tiny boy, and one evening, seeing him alone, James attacked him with a stone and took his life. Once again, Chauhan's eyes opened at the gates of hell and suddenly he was shot in the head. This time, he found himself in a new body where he was tied to a chair with a cloth over his head. The thugs around him were torturing him, asking for the whereabouts of the girl and the money. Just as they were about to hit him with a hammer, a shining stone suddenly entered his mind. Chauhan realized that this time he was in the body of a serial killer who had fallen in love with his boss's girlfriend. That girl asked for his help to escape. So Choi stole $10 million from the boss and gave it to the girl, hiding her in a safe place. But soon the boss caught him. Anyway, Choi struggled and freed himself, then turned off the lights and took out all the goons. Then Chauhan decided to find the stolen money from the boss so he could start a new life. He opened the door and found himself inside a moving truck. Now he took a motorcycle and escaped with a gang of thugs chasing after him. They cornered him on a bridge. But Chauhan cleverly escaped from their grasp. However, some goons still followed him, so he went straight to the roof of a building and from there a pool M. If Chahe ran to the seaside, a pomekina askwan pop toyer in your share. The boss's girlfriend came and hugged him. When Chauhan told her that all the money was on the balloon boat, suddenly the girl shot him. Once again, Chahe was at the doorstep of hell and was laughing at Hales. But Chow was not that stupid. Actually, he hadn't told the girl the real location of the money and now he will search for the money in the next life. After that, he came into the body of a prison inmate where his companions warned him to be careful because a crazy killer would kill him just 4 days before his release. Just then, the crazy one entered the room and Chauhan saw that it was James, the same boy who used to trouble him in class. Seeing him, Che was furious with anger and attacked James. His companion stopped him just as a shining stone entered his mind. Shah realized that at this moment he was in the body of a boy who dreamed of becoming an MMA fighter. But his mother had a lot of debt and to repay it, he was ready to take the blame for a rich man's crime. At that time, he was under 18 years old, so he was sentenced to only 2 years. After this, when the real culprit's lawyer came to meet him, he threatened to reveal the truth to the whole world. In this way, he asked for some more money to keep his mouth shut. Meanwhile, in jail, Avasta told James that he would reveal his true nature to everyone because he knew that James was not a lunatic but a coward who killed children. Then one day, while working in the workshop, an accident occurred after which the guards took the injured prisoner away. Meanwhile, asa kiesinka achkaisita hainoe, some thugs surrounded Chai and suddenly launched a deadly attack on him. But Chai was in the body of an MMA fighter at that moment and taught one of the thugs a good lesson. Then at night, he went to James and pretended to bring the spirits of the dead into his body to punish him. Now the boy whom James had murdered at school was standing in front of him in Chai's body. He said he would never stop haunting James. Hearing this, James started having fits out of fear. Finally, the day of Choi's release arrived and Chauhan met the real culprit's lawyer. The lawyer tried to give him more money, but Chauhan refused, saying he would now make his own life. After that, he reached the same seashore and found the $10 million he had hidden in his past life. He took the money home and started thinking about his future life. Anyway, at night he had a dream about his mother and woke up crying. Then he received a call from the MMA fighter's mother and promised to meet her. He divided the money into 2 bags for the mother of an MMA fighter and he hid one bag in the station lobby. Now he reached the area where the fighter lived, but suddenly someone stabbed him in the stomach. Chauhan did not understand who attacked him. Then the man said that he was the father of the girl whom Chauhan had run over with his car. Then Straub apologized to him and revealed the truth that the real culprit was someone else. He had just taken the blame for some money. Hearing this, the man panicked and ran away from there. Just then, the fighter's friend from jail arrived, but then he revealed that he went to jail with the intention of killing Chauhan. Now he was quite happy to find him because he would get a reward for killing him. In one swift motion, he stabbed Chauhan in the stomach, killing him. Just then, Chahe's phone rang and it was fighter's mother calling. Now once again he came in front of hell, but he remembered his mother. Elle said that he failed this time too, but Choi said he wanted to go to the next body. Elle shot him and now he was in the body of a young boy. He was just a little distance from the train station and ran to the storage room and immediately took out a bag of money. Then suddenly his eyes fell on a poster and the shining stone entered his mind. He realized that he was now in the body of a model. When Choi reached home, he was amazed by the luxury there. Then his friend's call came inviting him to a party. At the party, Choi realized that he gets drunk very quickly. Just then, the CEO of the same company arrived, the company where he had been trying to get a job for so many years as Choi. Choi tried to talk to him, but soon he passed out from the intoxication. The next morning, his older brother woke him up and he opened his eyes. Then it was revealed that they both run a cafe together, and after his brother left today, he had to handle all the work himself. Today, he was working as a waiter when Jenny came into the cafe. When he was alive as Choi, Jenny was his fiancée. Seeing her made Choi's heart race and he remembered his love. He recalled how he first met Jenny. That day, Jenny's book pages had flown away and Choi had helped her. Then he remembered how he had told Jenny to move on because, according to him, he was a good for nothing. When Choi's brother saw that Choi was nervous upon seeing Jenny, he told Choi that Jenny is a famous writer. Choi immediately checked on Google and saw that Jenny's novel had recently won an award. To this novel was about the story of one of her lovers. When Choi immediately found and read the book, he realized that Jenny had written it about the beautiful moments spent with him. Choi told her that he would love her until his dying breath and would never leave her. Then, when he was in the cafe, he remembered that he had promised to give Jenny a fountain pen when her book was completed. Then Choi bought the pen that evening and had Jenny's name engraved on it, even if he hadn't given it to her. After that, Choi saw the same man who had come to drop Jenny home that day. He was with his family and introduced Jenny as his sister. Hearing this, Choi realized what a big mistake he had made. The next day, Choi went to meet Jenny with special tea for her. He said that he wanted to tell her a story for her new book. Then he narrated the story of a man who was facing death by going into different bodies one after another. He described everything in such detail that Jenny was very impressed with him. Jenny asked him the name of that person, but Choi changed the subject and asked for her autograph. Just then, he noticed that Jenny was using the same fountain pen. Actually, Choi's mother had given her this pen. After that day, Choi started meeting Jenny every day and Jenny was amazed to see that everything looked so real. Then one day, it was raining, so Chai gave Jenny a red umbrella as a gift. After that, when he returned to the cafe, a waitress broke a glass. When Chai helped clean up the glass, he got injured. Suddenly, the sound of police sirens was heard from afar, and the people in the restaurant started talking about the accident outside. At that moment, Chai ran outside and seeing the broken red umbrella, his heart broke. He thought something had happened to Jenny in the accident, but Jenny was standing safe on the other side. Seeing Chai's condition, she came to him and bandaged his hand. She realized that Chai thought he had lost someone close in the accident. Jenny could understand all this because she had felt the same after Chai's death. Now, as Jenny was leaving, she said that she would not meet him again because his story reminded her of her lover. A little later, she went to Chai's grave and cried, remembering him in front of his picture. Meanwhile, Chai was watching her from a distance. After she left, he went there himself and saw his real mother. When he saw them crying, he came out and started sobbing and begged for forgiveness. Later, he wrote a letter to his mother as Chai's friend and left it at his mother's house in a bag full of money. Then the next day, he met Jenny and told her the rest of the story. Hearing it, Jenny was very happy and then Chai went to drop her home. On the way, Jenny said she would pray for a good ending to the hero's story. Then she remembered that when Chai used to be a waiter, Jenny had introduced him to her friends. It didn't matter to her that Chai was a waiter because in her eyes, Chai's hard work was above all. But Chai kept thinking that Jenny would get over his death. Anyway, now Chai realized his mistake and went to Jenny to sincerely apologize. He said that he has always loved Jenny. Then he told Jenny the whole truth that he is the real Chai and whatever happened with him is not a story but the truth. He promised that now he is not going to leave Jenny and go anywhere. But then suddenly a car stopped in front of him. The owner of the same company where Chai had interviewed was in it. And then Chai realized that every time he came in different bodies, he always met this man in some form. When the airplane accident happened, perhaps this man had a hand in it. This time he ran over Jenny with the car and then brutally killed Chai as well. In no time, the police erased all evidence of the incident there, and when Chai opened his eyes, he was at the gates of hell again. He realized that every time he didn't survive, it was because of that man with the car. In anger, he vowed to take his life and then ran and shot at the goddess of death. With this, the story ends. When the next part comes, we will make a video of it too. Until then, bye bye.
And if you like the video, don't leave without subscribing.